you do not have a lot of time left. Now, I would probably say in any other year that it's quite impossible for you to just go up like 5 grades in this short period of time. But this year is different. For all the exams, you get told what might be on the exam and what definitely will be on the exam, and you should be able to use that to your advantage. Sound like my chemistry teacher. But I'm here today to tell you the best way that you can improve your grade in the short amount of time for your GCSEs. Let's jump right in. Obviously, you should know about the exam advice given by the exam boards. Look at the topics which will cover the majority of the test and focus on your weak parts on the list. Now, as I covered in this video, you should probably be aiming to cover everything, but focus on the stuff on the list. Now, the problem is, how do you actually go about it? And your how will sort of determine how high of a grade you will get. Because if you have a better method, you'll do better. And I felt like my how sort of determined how well I'd do in subjects like English and RE, because I was absolutely awful at those. But I spent I think at least 2 months just trying to cram it all in. And this is probably the reason I got all 9s. The first thing you should be aiming to do is understand the exam structure. You should know a lot about it already, but you have to make sure that you completely understand what the exam is actually about. So English, for example, you've got section A and section B for AQA. Maths, for example, the first half should be easy and the second half should be more difficult. You should be able to know what the exam is actually like, and you should know this from any past papers that you've done, any mocks that you've done. Now, about the exam structure, you should be able to know what to do for each question. So like for question 2, question 3, question 4, question 5, question 1 for English. Or maybe for a specific maths question, like trigonometry, you should know how to sort of tackle it. And you can develop these skills using 2 main methods. The first method, which I used for English, was to watch YouTube videos. I just sat down and watched YouTube videos for like a month straight. Why is YouTube good? Because you're almost guaranteed to have some sort of specialist or teacher on YouTube that knows the subject, who's been in the job for like many years, and they know what the exam is like. And from each video, depending on the subject, you should write down the key points. Maybe if it's a maths question, write down the steps on how to tackle it. If it's science, write down the key sort of notes, the key bits of the topic. For me, I just watched lots of Mr. Sal's videos for English literature, which actually really helped me. I actually understood what English is sort of about, what you should be aiming to do in your answers, in your paragraphs. And I took that information away, tried to understand my best, and just apply it. For English, to get a high grade, you should be able to give lots of different impressions that a text gives you, or the different perspectives about a quote. Like, without that, you're not going to get an A, I think. These are all my English literature notes that I made, some English language notes. The second tip is to use practice questions. If you're in A-levels, you should know about practice questions. Practice questions allow you to test how much you know about a topic. And every time you retrieve a piece of information, the connection in your brains gets stronger. A great place for practice questions is Physics and Maths Tutor, and they sort of arrange their questions for science especially based on each topic. So it's amazing because you look at the list on the exam board, on the exam advice, and then you look at the topics which are definitely going to be on the test, and then look at the practice questions on Physics and Maths Tutor, do the practice questions, and then you're sorted really. Now, for sort of wordy subjects like English, like history, you should aim to look at these practice questions and just plan out your answer. You're not going to spend like 1.5 hours doing a paper each day. You should actually try 1 to 3 papers, I'd say, whilst you're revising for your exams. But for the majority of the time, just plan out your answer, make sure you know how to structure your answer, and you're sorted. I'm not here to tell you how to structure an answer for English. You can go watch any of these people. And obviously, go ask your teachers for help. They're the ones that are specialists in that subject. It might not seem like they're actually good at the subject, but they are. They're there to help you. Ask them whatever you want. Maybe don't even ask teachers. Ask people who have done the test themselves. Maybe one of your siblings has done it. Ask them. So the video is actually kind of short, So what I've planned to do instead is to give you a few tips on the subjects that I took at GCSE. I'll try and do this quickly. For maths, you should be doing lots of practice questions and past papers to understand what you should do, what the method is for each type of question. As I've said, English, literature and language, I just watched lots of YouTube videos and understood what I had to do for each question. RE was basically the same sort of stuff. For science and geography, I did similar stuff for both of those subjects. Mainly practice questions, especially for science, but I mainly made lots of condensed notes, all coloured up. And the important thing with science especially, and any sort of processes that you learn in geography, was to understand what happens, not just memorise it. For computer science, if I'm going to be honest, our teacher just gave us these sort of information PowerPoints with like everything on it basically, and I would just repeatedly write on scrap pieces of paper just notes, trying to sort of print it in my memory, to be honest. That's ineffective. I wouldn't recommend doing it. I'd probably recommend flashcards instead, to be honest. But that's what I did and it worked. Also, understanding pseudocode or like code. A lot of this has been about understanding and possibly memorising information. You'll have to memorise information, but you'll have to understand it as well. Best way to do it is by using practice questions and flashcards, because you're constantly in an action of repeating something, making connections in your brain, trying to retrieve information from your memory. It helps to memorise the information. That's everything from me today. I hope this video helps you in trying to boost your grades, because your exams like just around the corner. Just relax, just chill. They're only GCSEs. Use your GCSEs to go to college, go to A-levels. Then actually work for them. But if you're doing A-levels. If you're doing A-levels right now, then you might as well try your best for these. This is Garg here. If you enjoyed this video and it helped out, then leave a like down below, press subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.